Hello guys. Mko poa? Let us move on. Let us move on. Today we are going to talk about reporting analysis and variances. Reporting analysis and variances. And I had shared with you a video. I hope everyone watched that video. The video was on standard costing. So I shared the video on standard costing. I hope everyone managed to watch the video. So if you do not manage to watch the video, then you need to revisit the video. Now, the video covered variances. The video covered variances. The video did not cover reporting analysis. Let us start with the reporting analysis. Then we finalize on variances because we already have the video. So we just talk some few things. Then we see. Now, reporting analysis, we talk about now activity-based costing. So let us talk about activity-based costing in intermediate. In advanced level, they call it activity-based budgeting. Activity-based budgeting. So in advanced level, in to activity-based budgeting. So intermediate ABC or in advanced ABB. In advanced, it's called the ABB. They are the same thing. So they are just the same concept. So activity-based costing, what's ABC, and activity-based budgeting. And the activity-based budgeting. That one is okay. Now, I hope the board is clear. Hiyo pen nimetumia ni kama it is not clear. So let me change the pen. Now, we talk about the activity-based costing or activity-based budgeting is a reporting analysis. So it is a type of costing method which is used to report costing. Now, what does it base? It is based on what? Now, when they report cost, it is based on activities. It is based on activity. Now, in this case, it is the activity which caused the cost. It is the activity which caused the cost and not the product. It is not the product, but the activities which relates to the product cause the cost to occur. Now, kindly mute. Ingia una mute. So kindly ukiingia na mute. So we say that this method assumes that costs are caused by activities. So costs are caused by activities, but absorbed by the product. This is the main assumption, or this is the main definition of the activity-based costing, that this method is where the costs are caused by the activities and not the product itself. So the activities that you want to take to make that product is what will cause the cost to occur. But the cost will be absorbed by the product. Now we say any activity refers, not any activity, an activity, sorry, An activity refers to combination of several combination of several tasks. So an activity refers to combination of several tasks described by cost driver. I know you know what's a cost driver. A cost driver is any activity which initiate costs. Remember, you said that cost activity is any activity which initiate costs, cost. So any form of combination of various tasks described by a cost driver is what we call an activity. Is what we call an activity. Now, it assumes that costs can be divided into 3 groups. Then we got to say it assumes that cost can be divided into 3 groups. Number 1, divided into 3 groups. Number 1, variable cost. Number B, semi-variable cost. Semi-variable cost. Number C, it can also be divided into fixed cost. So it assumes that cost can be divided into 3. You have the variable cost, semi-variable, and fixed. Now, because of the three classification, ABC results into very accurate. Number one, costing policies. So because of those subdivisions, then this method is good for costing policies. Come up with the costing policies. Number 2, pricing policies. Number 3, look of evaluation procedures. Number 4, decision making. Making procedures. That one is okay. Don't need to talk about it more. Type of activities. What are those type of activities that you need to know? Hiyo anaweza kuuza kwa mtihani. This is very common in exams. So these are very common in exam. Number 1, unit activity. Unit level activities. And we say these are activities which involve just one unit. These are activities which involves just one unit. These are the activities which involve just one unit of a product. So it will involve just one unit of our product. Just one unit of our product. They are clearly identified with the units. Then we say they are clearly identifiable with the product. They are clearly identifiable with the product. Not with the product, with the units. With the units, and result to direct cost. And result to direct cost. Number 2, talk of batch level activity. Batch level activities. Batch level activities. Batch level activities. And we say they involve several units of activities. These are activities, and I say they involve several units of activities. They involve several units of activities, e.g., machine setup, comma. We can talk about receiving materials. We can talk of what else? Production scheduling. We talk about production scheduling, etc. So those are examples that we can talk about. We have another one, product sustaining activity. Number 3, product sustaining activities. Product sustaining activities, and we say these are activities aimed at ensuring the long-term survival and competitiveness of a product in the market. So these are activities. These are the activities aimed at ensuring long-term survival. You can talk about the long-term survival, and competitiveness, of a product in the market. Those activities which are there to ensure that the product survives in the market and that the product is competitive in the market is what we call these activities is what we call the product sustaining activities. Number 4, and the last one, facility sustaining and we say that activity performed to ensure that company remain as a going concern. We say activities are performed to ensure that the firm is a going concern. Now, what's a going concern? When we talk about going concern, we mean that the firm will continue to operate in the foreseeable future. So the firm is not shutting down any sooner. So the firm is not going to shut down any sooner. So activities performed to ensure that the firm is going concern for a long period of time. for a long period of time. For a long period of time. They enhance market share. They enhance market shares. They enhance market shares. They enhance market share. Reason. Another subtopic. Reason for emergency of ABC. Reason for emergency of ABC. Reason for growth. For growth of the ABC. So KBB. Reporting. So activity-based costing or the activity-based budgeting. So what are some of the reasons behind the growth of this kind of reporting? Number one, need to remedy inaccuracy. Number one, need to remedy inaccuracy. To need to remedy inaccuracy arising from assumptions of convectional or the stepwise costing. Convectional or the stepwise costing or just a minute. So convectional or brackets wise absorption brackets. So now we call it bracket wise absorption. Or what another name? There's another name. Don't remember. When you'll be doing some question, but this one is less inaccurate. It's also called the bracket wise or the convectional. It is mostly inaccurate. So bracket wise absorption. So mostly it is inaccurate, and therefore there was need to grow to the growth. Yeah, there was need for the growth of the ABC. Number two, emergency of low cost production. Emergency of low production cost. Emergency of low production cost. Also emergency of low cost production activities. In that case, there is need for the ABC. There was need for the ABC system. Increased automation also. Increased automation. Increased automation. For example, use of machines to perform duty. For example, i.e., use of machine to perform duties. Now, that is related to ABC. So ABC is more of automation compared to the conventional or the tradition. So another name of convection is traditional costing. You can also find it, others call it relational costing, others call it conventional costing, conventional costing, others call it bracket wise costing. So it depends with the examiner, with the name they want to use. So you find that the ABC is more automated as compared to the tradition, and therefore that one led to the emergency of the ABC. Next, increased neck-to-neck competition. Let me edit it here, out of space. Number four, increased neck-to-neck competition. Increased neck-to-neck competition. Now, because of the increased neck-to-neck competition, it led to the growth of ABC. It led to the growth of the ABC system. So increased neck-to-neck competition, increased neck-to-neck competition, and then increased need for diversification strategy. Increased need for diversification. Strategies. So increased need for diversification strategy also led to the growth of this system. So ni kama ilitoka kidogo. So let me just forward it. Hivyo tu kidogo. Tunasema so the increased need for diversification strategy led to the growth of the ABC system. And then the last one, number 6, another reason for the growth of ABC, modern companies becoming multi-product. So modern companies becoming multi-product. You will find a company is producing more than one product. So you find a company is producing more than one product. When the company is producing more than one product, you find that the company is producing more than one product. That one is okay. Factors that limit the adopting of ABC. So what are the factors which limit the adoption of ABC? Factors which limit the adoption of ABC. So what are those factors which limit the adoption of ABC? So factors, let me set them as I do away with the board. I hope camera ameandika with the board. Tunapatia like 2 minutes uandike yenye ujaandika kwa board as I dictate. Now factors that limit the adoption of ABC. Number one, inability to establish appropriate cost driver. Inability to establish appropriate cost driver. So inability to establish appropriate cost driver. So remember, we are in factors that limit the adoption of ABC. So nani mwenye ameunmute? So kuna someone ameunmute hapo. Ada. Jane, you mute.
No. Sasa kutaka ile share.
Jane, Jane. Okay. So we are saying factors that limit the adoption of ABC. Number one, inability to establish appropriate cost driver. That's number one. Where the company cannot be able to establish an appropriate cost driver becomes a limit to adopt ABC. So number one, inability to establish appropriate cost driver. Number two, sometimes costs are inevitable. Sometimes costs are inevitable. Sometimes costs are inevitable. I.e., costs cannot be attributable to any cost driver. Cost cannot be attributable to any cost driver. So another limitation, sometimes costs are inevitable and cannot be attributable to any cost driver. Cannot be attributable to any cost driver. That will limit the adoption of ABC. So if we cannot attribute cost to any cost driver, then it will be hard for us to use the ABC. It will be hard for us to use the ABC. So sometimes the costs are inevitable and cannot be attributable to any cost driver. That becomes a limitation. The last one, lack of resources. Lack of resources. Now, in this case, implementing ABC is expensive. Implementing ABC is expensive. So number three, lack of resources. And we say implementing ABC system is expensive. Implementing ABC system is expensive. Implementing ABC system is expensive. Is expensive. Is expensive. Is expensive. Okay. Procedures of implementing ABC. Procedures of implementing ABC. So procedures of implementing ABC. So what are the procedures of implementing ABC? So hiyo tunatumia kufanya swali, those procedures. But mimi sitakuwa nikitumia hizo procedures, tunawapea tu in case of kuuliza kwa exam. In case of kuuliza kwa exam, hiyo ndo utasema. Me, I will not follow the procedure, nitafanya tu swali as normal. The way you can do it in an exam. So procedures. Procedures of implementing ABC or the steps used in ABC. So you can say the procedures of implementing ABC or steps used in ABC. The steps used in ABC system. Hii kuna maji kidogo. Nitoe yote. I think we are heading in the right direction. Kama tukikutana ile at time venye tu hatukuweza kupatana. I think tulikuwa tumeshamaliza hii MB. Ni sawa. So today and tomorrow, so mimi nataka by Friday jioni tuanze advance FM. Of which advance FM tutamaliza within 1 week. So advance FM mimi inanga shida. That is for 1 week or 2 weeks. Kama 1 week, 1.5. So before exam ianze, tumefanya some revision. That will not be an issue for advanced FM. As long as we put a time. Now, procedures implementing ABC. Procedures of implementing ABC or the ABB. Number one, identify all the activities. Identify all the activities taking place in the organization. Taking place in the organization. So that's number one. You identify all the activities, and then group all the identical activities to form a cost pool. Group all the identical activities. Group all the identical activities to form a cost pool. To form a cost pool or center or a cost center, whichever you want to use, the same thing, or a cost center. Then after that one, identify a cost driver. When you say a cost driver, is any item or activity which for each cost pool. Then number 4, compute OAR. Then you say OAR is equal to the budgeted total overhead over budgeted cost driver units or budgeted cost driver. So remember, we say cost driver, those are activities which leads to cost. Now, that is all. Then, before we tumalizie, let's say this one. In deciding cost driver, in deciding cost driver to use, comma, the following factors must be considered. Following factors must be considered. The following factors must be considered. Number A, cash relationship. So what is the cash relationship? Now you can say choose a cost driver. That causes the cost to be ideal. So choose that kind of a cost driver which causes the cost to be ideal. 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 Number 2, benefit received. Number B, benefit received. Benefit received. Then we say choose a cost driver. Choose a cost driver. Choose a cost driver so that the costs are proportional to the benefit received. So that costs are assigned in proportion of the benefits received. Now you must choose cost driver where the costs are assigned in such a manner that we can receive maximum benefit. Then ya mwisho, reasonableness. Reasonable from that reasonable. Cannot be linked to a product. Based on casualty. This one based on casualty or benefit received. Or benefit received. Or the benefit received. If assigned on the basis of reasonableness. That one is okay. That one is quite fine. Let us start with the intermediate. Let us start with the intermediate level. Let us open our intermediate level first paper, kindly. Let us open our intermediate level first paper. Then to again advanced. The question would have is the same. There is no differences. Now, if you go to MA, so open your management accounting first paper. You want an idea first. So August 2024 last sitting. Do you have a question? August 2024 last sitting. Yes, we had a question. Question number 3. Question number 4B. Question number 4B. Aquatic. So I'm going to run a first paper. Yeah, MA. It was stated in last sitting. August 2024. So August 2024. Question number 4B. So we need to do like a lot of questions, by the way. We need to do like a lot of them. Because that one is important. It is important that we do a lot of them, both in advanced MA and also in intermediate level. Now, I hope we shall have appropriate or enough working, because it also requires some workings. Now, let me read the question. So let me read the question in a SEMA that someone to read for us. Someone to read for us. Yes. Someone to read for us. Funny. Kuna mayasoma?
Okay, let me lead. Aquatic Limited manufactures water dispensers for both domestic and office use using absorption costing system. There are 3 models branded regular, medium, and deluxe. Selected data for the 3 products is as follows. We have the model, regular, medium, and deluxe. Then we have direct material cost per unit. We have direct labor hours per unit, machine hours per unit, and production volume. All of them represented with the amount. Then we have additional information. We have the total cost per unit is loaded, a profit markup of 20% to determine the selling price. We have direct labor costing is shillings 2,100 per labor hour. We have number 3, currently production overheads are absorbed based on bracket-wise machine hour absorption costing basis. The rate for the period is 1,500 per machine hour. Budgeted annual production overhead for Aquatic Limited amounted to shillings 25,200,000. Further analysis shows that the production overheads can be apportioned accordingly to activity-based costing ABC approach as follows. Cost pool. We have setup cost. Apportionment is 40% and cost driver number of setups. Machine cost 20% and number of machine hours is cost drivers. Then we have material procurement cost. Then we have apportionment of 10% and cost driver number of orders. We have quality control cost 30% and cost of driver number of inspection. Additional information number 5, the following cost drivers are associated with the models. Model, we have number of setups, we have regular, we have medium, and deluxe. Then we have number of in model, we have number of setups, we have number of orders, we have number of inspection, then we have number of machine hours. Required, calculate for each model the full cost and selling price per unit under 1, bracket-wise absorption costing approach, 2, activity-based costing ABC approach.
Yes. Now, that one is all about it. Now we can jump. We start with the first one. They are telling us to find the bracket-wise absorption costing approach. Remember when we said that we have bracket-wise, it's a conventional costing method. So we say you can call it conventional if you want. Conventional costing method. Now we have 3 products in that case. So we have whatever we produce in units. So we have regular, medium, and deluxe. So R, M, D. So we call them R, M, and D. I call them R, M, and D. Now, for this kind of costing systems, you find the prime cost first. The first thing that you do, you find the prime cost. So we start with the direct material. Now remember that question wants us to compute in units and in full. So we start with per unit, then by that at the full cost. So that's how per unit. So what is the direct material cost per unit? So from the question, the direct material per unit, you have 2,500. We have 2,500. Then I think this one is 3,250. Then the D is 5,550. 5,550. Then you're supposed to add the labor cost. From the direct material cost, we add the direct labor cost. Now, what's our direct labor cost per unit? Direct labor cost Where is it? Pale juu.
That one of
yes.
That one of D 5500, not 5550.
Oh, 5500. Now, do you have labor cost? Now, labor cost. Now, labors per hour per unit. Tumepatia pale juu. Can you see it? Labors per hours per unit? How many hours per unit? Let's go to information number 2. The direct labor cost is 2100 per hour. Now, per hour. But look at our question pale juu. The direct labor hours per hour unit. Can you see it pale juu? Now, we need to find the cost per one unit. And that one is fine. So, we can say that 1 hour, then we know that 1 hour is Kenya shillings with 100. Now, let's start with R. Now, what is the total hours for R? Total hours for R is the regular. Is for direct labor hours per unit. It is 0.75. 0.75. Now, what would be our total hours? So itakuwa ni 2100 times 0.75 times 0.75, which is 1575. Ndio tunakuja tunaweka hapo. Kwa hiyo kalamu imeitupa wapi? Oh, kwa mkono. So this one will be equal to 1575. Now the other one per unit is ngapi? Let's go to M. If you go to M, from the question wanatuambia it is 1.5 hours. 1.5 hours. 1.5 hours. No, but we know 1 hour is 2100. Kenya shillings 2100. What about 1.45? 1.5? According to 100 times 1.5. So that will be equal to that 150. Or equal to that 150 per unit. Itakuwa ni equal to 31 Kenya shillings, 3150 per unit. Remember that is per unit. Remember you are computing it according to units. So first we are computing it in units. Then ya mwisho the labor hours ni 1 hour. So deluxe D pale juu anatuambia it is 1 hour. Na cost per hour ni 2100, itabaki hivyo. This one will be equal to 2100. This one will be equal to 2100. Now that is the only cost that we have. So we can get our prime cost. Prime cost. Prime cost. So prime cost. So when you add the direct material plus direct labor cost, it's about 2500. We add 1575, which is 40. Which is 40. 75. 3250 plus 3150 is 6400. 5500 plus 2100, which is 7600. Now we add. Now this is the formula kumbuke for conventional. We add the overhead cost. Once we add the overhead cost, we shall get our total cost. So we add overhead cost so that we can get total cost. So per unit, we need to find it per unit first. Let us do working. So let us allow me to do the working for overhead cost. Let us do the working for overhead cost. Now overhead cost. Now the first thing you take, what is the mode of absorption? So the first thing you check is what is the mode of absorption. And in that question already tumeambiwa that the mode of absorption, if you go to information number 3, go to information number 3, anasema The current production overheads are absorbed based on the bracket-wise machine hours. Now, the mode of absorption is machine hours. This one is very important. Machine hours. Now, machine hours. Now, from this information, we need to find our OAR. So from this information, then automatically, since we have our cost driver, so our cost driver is machine hours. So our cost driver, in this case, we can term it as machine hours. Now we can say that our OAR is equal to the budgeted overhead over machine hours. Unaangalia the mode of absorption. So if it is machine hours, we divide the machine hours. But already tumepatiwa. So kwa sababu ametupatia. What's our overhead? OAR ndio hiyo. Kenya shillings 1,500 per machine hours. So ametupatia. So the examiner was very good. Kenya shillings 1,500 per hour of the machines. So the examiner was very good to give us. Now, what if examiner is kupatia? This is how you could have calculated. Now, what's our budgeted overhead? So now let us assume examiner hajakupatia. Jumia na swali ilikuwa rahisi sana. You already examiner amekuambia the machine hours, the machines, the cost of machine per hour, which will form the overhead. Already examiner amekupatia. But now what if hajakupatia? How do you find it? So what's our budgeted cost? Unaenda pale chini information number 4. The budgeted annual production overhead for quarter amounted to 25,200. So kama hajakupatia unachukua hiyo 25,200,000. We divide the total machine hours. Let us compute the total machine hours. Let's pale juu. Let's go back to our information pale juu. Tuende kwa machine hours. Now tukienda pale juu kwa machine hours, I can see number 1, regular. They have 1.5 hours per unit. 1.5 hours per unit. Now, how many units are they producing? Naona wanasema ni 800. Is everyone seeing that one? Unachukua the hours, so you need to know total hours. It inachukua 1.5 hours for Dirac. Now, what about 800 units? How many hours? The hiyo. So ni 800 times 1.5. Utapata total hours. Number 2. Tuende kwa so huyu alikuwa ni R. You need to find total hours. So how many total hours is this? Tuende kusema 800 units times 1.5 hours over 1 unit. So unit na unit nakata. So how many hours is that? So 800 times 1.5. So mwenye nataka kwa kando kando ndio hiyo. Which ndio hapa. Tuende kwa pili M. Tuende kama utapata the same answer kama huyo. Now how many hours? The hours here naona ni 1 hour. So hiyo ni direct. Ni 1 hour per unit. So how many units are there? 1,200. 1,200. So itakuwa ni 1 times 1,200. 1 times 1,200. Then tumalizia ya mwisho. Ya mwisho ni D. How many hours per unit? The hours per unit ni 3 hours. How many units? 800. So 3 hours per unit. But how many units? 800. So 3 hours times 800. Now, are you getting the same? Yes? Is this the same?
Yes.
Yes. So in case of hajakupatia. Yes. Now in case of hajakupatia, that is how you find it. So in case of hajakupatia, that's how you find it. So the examiner in this question was very good. So there was need for you to calculate. Ungeenda to direct, even without thinking how to find the OAR. So the examiner was good in this question. So hakutaka mambo mingi. So akasema let us give the Then that one. Anyway, now we need to find the overhead cost for R. Now we know that 1 unit ina cost pesa ngapi? Ina cost Kenya shillings. Ina cost Kenya shillings, not 1 unit. This is supposed to be 1 hour. We know that 1 hour ina cost Kenya shillings 1,500 per hour. Now, what is the hours for making 1 unit for R? Yes? Yes, Niambie. So what are the hours to make 1 unit for R? 1.5 hours per unit. Now find the total cost per unit for that one. So cost per unit, so remember you need 1,500 per hour. And you know 1 hour.
2250.
Itakuwa 22.
50.
Now you know 22
50.
per unit. Itakuwa 22 per unit. Tunajua 1 hour. So we know 1 hour costs 1,500. Now how many hours we have here? We have 1 hour per unit. Now what will be cost per unit? In that case, it will be the same, 1,500. If you multiply, itakuwa save 1,500. Ya mwisho ya D, we know that 1 hour ina cost 1,500 Kenya shillings, 1,500 per hour. How many hours do we have per unit? We have 3 hours per unit. Now, what will be the cost per unit? We interchange, so it's 1,500 times 3, which is 4,500. 4,500. So add them together. 4075 plus 2250, which is 6325. 6400 plus 1,500, which is 7900. 2600 plus 4500, which is 12,100. So that's how you are supposed to do part A, which we call it convectional costing. So that one we call it convectional costing. So we call it convectional costing. We call it convectional costing. So we call it convectional costing. Now we can go to the full cost. So allow me to grab the lower part. So that's how you find it. That's how you find it. Now let us move on to full cost for this convectional. So what will be the full cost? If you want to get a full cost, you multiply the number of units. So if you want to get the full cost, you multiply with the number of units. You multiply with the number of units. You multiply with the number of units. Let us see. As we say, So tunaanza na unit cost. Units made. I think this one was 800. I don't know, 800. The other one ilikuwa ngapi? 800. 1200 na 48. 1200. 1200 na 4800. So we find the total cost. So total full cost. Total full cost. That's the total full cost. That is the total full cost. So multiply. So 6325. 63 25. No. They don't ask. They wanted us to determine cost per unit and the selling price per unit. But instead, let us compute the full cost, not in units. So we can say 63 25 times 800. So this one you can say it is 50 60,000 7900 plus 1200 times 2, not 12 times 1200. So you multiply this, and you are multiplying with the units. Itakuwa 94,000, then 12,100, then 48,000, which is 58,080,000. Now they also want us to find the selling price per unit. Selling price per unit. Now remember, this is the formula. It is the cost per unit. Cost per unit plus markup per unit. The cost per unit plus markup per unit. We need to find for R, M, and D. So present our cost per unit. Cost per unit. We need to determine the selling price. And we have said is a cost per unit. The ER per unit 6325 7900 na 12,100. We need to add markup. Once we add the markup, then get the selling price per unit. Selling price per unit. Now let us try and find the markup. Now, someone remind me how to get markup. So how do we get markup? Now remember from the question, if we go to the question, let me go back to the question. Information number 1. If we go to the question, now, is my board clear on your side? Mimi ni kama yangu inapotea. Now, we said that when you are doing the method of cost plus method, do you remember cost plus method in our previous topic? We said that for us to get markup for margin, so we have margin in this question. We have margin in this question. Information number 1. Wanasema that no, sorry, we have markup. Markup is 20%. The markup, the profit markup is 20%. Determine selling price. So hata hakuna haja kudetermine markup, already tuko nayo. So there's no need of determining. So nachukua direct 20% of the cost. So tuanze na R, markup ya R ni 20% of 63.25. Tulikuwa ndani hata ni margin. Kumbe hata wamepatia direct. So huyo examiner alikuwa mzuri sana. The examiner was very good. 1265. Itakuwa 63.25 plus 1265. Itakuwa 75. 90. Haya, tuende kwa M, markup 20% of 7900. 0.2 times 7900, which is 1580. Naweka hapo 1580. 900 plus 1580. 9480. That will be the selling price. Then kwa D, 20% of 12, 100, 2420, 2420, so 12,100 plus 2420, 14, 520. So that is the conventional costing. That was conventional costing. So we need to go to what? We need now to go to absorption costing. So we need now to go to
Can you please give a formula? What if we were given margin instead of the markup?
Now assume. Now let us assume we want to convert markup to margin. Now, if you want to determine the margin from markup, this is how you do. This is the formula. This is the formula. Na tunasemanga inakuanga so let's assume let's say markup is N over M. Let's say that the markup is N over M. Now, what will be the margin? Now, the margin will be equal to what? Margin will be equal to N over M plus N. So, you know, nataka kusema. Now, in this case, our markup is 20%. So, we know our markup is 20%. Which is same as saying 20 over? Same as saying 20 over 100. Sivyo? So for you to get margin, this is how you do it. Itakuwa ni 20 over 100. Then remember to add the N. N is 20. To add the N, 20. So what will be our margin? So what will be your margin? Itakuwa ni 20 divided by 120, which is 0.166, or you can say it is 16.67%, or another one can say 16, 2 over 3%. That's how you get margin from markup. Now let us assume now you have this markup, this margin. You want to get markup. Let us see if you can get. Now let us assume now we have the margin as, let us assume that we have the margin as 16%. Now this is the formula from margin to markup. Now from margin, let's assume our margin is N over M. Now what will be our markup? Our markup itakuwa ni N over M minus N. That will be our markup. Let us see. Let us assume now our markup. Now let us assume our margin is 16. 2 over 3. percent, and we want to go to hapa to our markup. So how do you do it? So that when come utapata the 3%, this is how you do it. This is like saying 16 times 3, 16 times 3 plus 2, unasema 16 times 3 plus 2. So 16 times 3 plus 2 is 50. So this one is 50 over 300. Ukweli? Is that the same as saying 16 over 3? 50 over 200? 50 over 300? Chukua 50 over 100. 50 over 300 times 100. Utapata hii. Is that the same? So 60 times 3 plus 2. But remember it's percentage. So chini juni percentage, unaweka 3 as 300. So unaweka 100. 2 times 100 because of its percentage. So 60 times 3 plus 2 ni 50 over 3. But remember it's in percentage. So always have 50 over 3. Because in percentage. So ni 50 over 300. So that will become percentage. Now let us now go to our markup. Tunasema ni n, which is 50 over 300. And then remember, we less our n. Our n is juu minus 50. What will you get? Itakuwa ni 50 divided by 300 minus 50. Unapata 0.2, which is the same as 20%. Tuko sawa hadi hapo? Are we okay up to that point?
Yeah, it is okay.
Yes. Now what you need to remember, markup goes with cost. That way I did not change. So about the cost. So we had cost per unit. Now, for us to get the selling price, nachukua markup, you multiply the cost per unit. But margin goes with the sales. Goes with the sales. So goes with the sales. So you take the markup, you multiply with the cost, we shall get the contribution. We shall get the contribution. And that contribution is what we add to the cost per unit. When you multiply margin with the sales, you also get a contribution. That is okay. Now let us do number 2, the part B of that question. Part B of that question is now ABC. ABC method. So ABC. So ABB. So the ABB method. Now hiyo tunaanzia hapa for prime cost. So everything inafikana hapo, then we add the other cost. So that we add the other cost. Now uta draw again, then we chore this one from direct material labor up to prime cost. So from prime cost kuli chini, so hapo ndio vitu zinakuwa tofauti kidogo. So you can redraw again. So draw yours. So mimi nisichori navuta tu ya chini yake, alafu nianzie hapo. So we need to add the cost driver. So we need to add the cost drivers now. In this case, we are supposed to add the cost drivers as our overhead cost. So we need to add the cost drivers as our overhead cost. As our overhead cost. So we need to add the cost drivers as our overhead cost. As our overhead cost. We are in a mambo. We need to add the cost drivers as overhead cost. So we say chini yake. Now we add overhead cost, and in this case, it's the cost drivers. It's the cost drivers. Let us tuangalie kwa swali. Kwa hiyo lazima tuangalie kwa swali. What are our cost ya kwanza that is there? We have the setup cost. So we have setup cost. Setup cost. Ya pili We have machine cost. We have machine cost. Kutoka machine cost. Kuna material procurement cost. Material procurement cost. Material procurement cost. Material procurement cost. Alafu tumalizie na quality control cost. Quality control cost. Quality control cost. So we have the prime cost. So tuko na R, M, na D, so that you can get cost per unit. Cost per unit. And when the first working, let's start with the first working setup cost. Let's start with the setup cost. Now, what is our setup cost from the question? What's our setup cost? It's 40%. It is 40% of the budgeted overhead. Remember, it is 40%. It is 40% of our budgeted. I require 22. So our budgeted overhead is happy. Budgeted cost 200,000. Is 200,000. Now kumbuke, the overhead cost hiyo tunaongelea hapa is for production. So unakuwa unaangazia sabana za kuchanganya kupatie mbili. So unachukua the one for production. So lazima ikuwe ni production. Kama si production, then you cannot use that cost hapo kwa chini to add after prime cost. We are supposed to add the overhead cost. Those overhead costs, they are costs from production. So kama si production, then that one itakuwa ni mambo mengine. So 200,000, how much would that be? 200,000 itakuwa ni 0.4 times 25, 200,000, which is 80,000. Now I need to find the OAR because this setup cost itakuwa ni 800,000. We are supposed to divide them with the number of setups. So add for me all the number of setups together. The number of setups tena pale chini. We have 64, 120, 320. 64, 120, 320. 64 plus 120 plus 320. That one inaenda na setup cost. So setup cost inaenda na, so what is the cost driver? The setup cost inaenda na number of setup. So inaenda pale chini information number 5. Unaangalia number of setup for each. So 64, 120, 320. So find for me the OAR. Find for me the OAR. So itakuwa ni 10,800,000. 10,800,000 divided by 64 plus 120 plus 320. Hiyo inanipatia, inapata something to do with Kenya shillings 21,428.57 per setup. Per setup. Are you getting that one? Now let us find for R. R. And remember, we are supposed to put the information here per unit. So tuanze, itakuwa ni, so for you guys to get the setup, for the setup cost.
Okay, let me ask.
Yes.
Is it 10,080 or is it 10,800?
Yeah, but 0.4 times 25, 200,000. 10,080,000. Mimi hapa 10,080. Unapata aje?
So hapo chini kwa OAR unatumia 10,800 badala ya 10,080.
10,080 hivyo. Sawa. Itakuwa 64 plus 120 plus 320. So it is 20,000 per setup. Per setup. Now, if you want to find for R, for example, what you do unachukua OAR, una multiply with the number of setup to get the total cost. But remember they want per unit. So we divide the total units. We divide with the total units. So tunaanza na R hapo. Let us find start with R. Itakuwa ni 20,000. Remember the number of setup. So ya R is 64. We divide it with the total number of units. Total number of units ilikuwa ngapi? Total number of units pale juu ilikuwa ni 800. It was 800. It was 800. Inakuwa ni 20,000 times 64 divided by 800. Which is 1,600. Hii unakuja unaweka hapa setup cost 1,600. We need to go to M. OAR is 20,000. We multiply with the number of setup for R ni 120. We divide it with the total number of units. The total number of units is 1,200. The number of units is 1,200. Then under D ni 20,000. OAR. Our OAR is 20,000. We multiply with the number of setup, which is 320. Divided with the total number of units, what yours? 4,800. Which was 4,800. So Abirabi, so kind of we just know Abirabi because we need space. So we need space. So nitakuwa nikirab. Nikimaliza moja nikienda nyingine nitakuwa na rab. So tuanze na ya pili 20,000 times 20 times not 20 times 120 divided by 1,200. This one is 2,000 per unit. So this one is 2,000 per unit. Then 20,000 times 320 divided by 4,800. So someone say 20,000 times 320. Yeah, 320, yes. Divided by 4,800. So we have 1,300.33. So setup, nimemaliza setup. So for setup, nimemaliza. We can go to the second one. Is the machine cost. Ndio kama saidi inatoshea. To compress hapo. Machine cost. Machine cost. Machine cost. Now, what would be the percentage of machine cost from the question? The percentage of the machine cost I can see is 20%. 20% is 20%. We multiply with the total, which is 25, 200,000. That will give us what? So that will be equal to 0.2 times 25, 200, 1, 2, 3. So 50, 40,000. 50, 40,000. Now you find the OAR. So in this case, for machine cost, itakuwa ni the total cost for machine cost. We divide the cost driver. Now, what's the cost driver of machine cost from the question? Now, the cost driver for machine cost and the number of machine hours. So the number of machine hours. Pale chini 1,200, 1,200 na 1,400. So you have 1,200. So the machine hours. 1,200 plus 1,200 plus 14,400. So that we can get our OAR in terms of machine hours. In terms of machine hours. So we divide the total machine hours. 1,200 plus 1,200 plus 14,400. Then what you get, unachukua 40, 50. We divide it with it. So we have 300. Kenya shillings 300 per hour. Per machine. Are you getting the same? Kenya 300 per machine hours? Yes. Now that one is fine. We use the same formula here to find for each OAR. We multiply with the machine. We multiply with the number of hours, number of machine hours, and then you divide by the total units, so that you can get cost per unit. Now, tuanze na kwanza R. So the cost per unit is 300. Remember the total number of hours of hours. Then divide the cost per unit, which is 800. So 300 times 1200 divided by 800. This one is equal to 450. So 450 shillings per unit for Finje. Then kwa M, 300 times number of machine hours is 1200 still. We divide with the total units or total units in 1200. We have 300. That will be equal to 300. Then tunamalizia mwisho D. For D, so the OAR is 300. We multiply with the number of total hours 400. The total units is 4800. Total units 4800. So 300 times 14400 divided by 4800, which is 900. In this case, we are getting 900. We need to go to the next one. Allow me to wrap this part so that we can do here material procurement cost. Material procurement cost. So material procurement cost. Material procurement cost. So let me do working for material procurement cost hapa. So material procurement cost. So material procurement cost. Now, what's the percentage for that one? Material procurement cost wanasema ni 10%. 10%. Now 10%. Tomorrow is 25. 200,000. That will be equal to what? 25, 200, 00. Itakuwa hivyo. Sivyo? Itakuwa hivyo. Now you need to find the OAR. So the method is the same. So 25, 20,000. Now we divide the cost driver. Now what's our cost driver from the question? Now our cost driver, wanasema number of orders. So we add them together, number of orders. We have 12, 21, and 87. 12, 21, and 87. 12 plus 21 plus 87. So what would be our OAR? Itakuwa ni 25, 20, 1, 2, 3 divided by 12 plus 21 plus 87. Na pale 21,000. So Kenya shillings 21,000 per order. So per order 21,000 per order. So what do we do? Tuanze na R. So tunaanza na number of orders. Cost per order 100. How many orders do we have? The 12. But we need them in units. We divide by 800. Then look at next M. Cost per order 2100. How many orders? 21. Divide by total number of units so that you can get cost per unit. Then D, cost per order, 2100. How many orders? 87. We divide with the total number of units, 4800. We shall get the cost per order of each. That gets the cost per order of each item. 2100 times 12, we divide by the 800. So that is at 1.5. 31.25. 2100 times 21 divided by 1200, that is 6.75. So per unit, that's 6.75. 2100 times 87 divided by 4800. That is equal to 38.06. So let me put it in two decimal place. 38.0625. Ama tuweke pia yote. Let's put it all. Kwa sababu decimal sio mrefu. Now tukishafanya hiyo, the last is the quality control. The last one is quality
Again,
control.
it's like you have
Yeah.
missed a zero.
Nimemiss zero.
Hiyo side ya wapo juu ni 21,000, huko chini unatumia 2,100.
Oh. So this one is supposed to be 21,000. So 21,000 times 12 divided by 800, 315. Yeah, 21,000 times 21 divided by 1200, 367.5. So 367.5. So wait, I got 360.625. Sivyo? So 21,000 times 87 divided by 4800. 380.625. That one is okay. Now let's go to the last one, which is quality control. Na wanatuambia quality control ni 30%. 30% of the production. So 30% of 25, 200,000. Inakuja ngapi? 0.3 times 25, 200,000, which will be equal to 7560. 7560,000. 7560,000. Now find OAR. Now you can find the OAR. And you know it is 7560. We divide the cost driver. So what's the cost driver for quality control? Number of inspection. Number of inspection 120, 180. 120, 180, 456. So 120 plus 180 plus 450. 456. So you can say it is 7560,000 divided by 120 plus 180 plus 456. 10,000. So Kenya shillings. 10,000 per inspection. Per inspection. We can start with the R. The cost per inspection is 10,000. Number of inspection. Number of inspection is 120. We divide the total number of units, which is 800. We go to M. Cost per inspection is 10,000. Total number of inspection 180 divided by cost per unit. No units is 1200. That divided by D, which is 10,000. Multiply the number of inspection, 456. We divide the total number of units, 648. And I think that one is correct. I find for each, that one will be mark the end of that question. There's nothing else in that question. There's nothing else in that question. Now, 10,000 times 120 divided by 800. This one is 1,500. So 1,500, 10,000 times 180 divided by 1,200. 1,500 because in a all these are the same. 10,000 times 456 divided by 48 is a 0. This one is put 950 per unit. 950. So add them together, they get cost per unit. So 475 plus 1,600 plus 450 plus 15 plus 1,500. Tunapata 7940. Tunapata 7940. This method is considered more accurate compared to the other method. So you cannot get the same answer. But this method is considered more accurate than the other one. 10,567. 10,567.5. 10,567. Then ya mwisho ni 76. 0. 13,33.33. 900. 38.625. Plus 950. Which is 11,163.955. So that is the end of that one. So for you to get the selling price, so you add markup here. So we can do it. Let us just malizie it because every part they said we find cost per unit and the selling price. The cost per unit and the selling price. So if you want to get the total cost, you multiply with the total number of units. So in this one, you multiply with the total number of units, this one and this one. But I'm not interested in total cost. I'm interested in selling price per unit. So we add the markup. So markup will call 20%. Remember, markup was 20%. Remember, markup was 20%. So we add markup. We're supposed to add markup so that we can get our selling price per unit. Selling price per unit. Now, then I apply 20% to 7940 times 0.2, 1588. 1588 plus 7940, 95, 28. That is selling price. That is 0.2 times 20% of 10, 567.5. Multiplied to 11, 3.5. So plus 10, 567.5, 12, 681. The price that we need to charge. Then 11, 163.955. Apart at 22, 32.791. So we had 11, 163.955. The selling price will be 13,396.746. So this method is considered more accurate compared to the other method. So the answers will be different because this method is considered more accurate than the other method. What's the time? What is the time now? before we record that, find another question. Did you continue with other questions? Ama tupatane kesho. Yes.
Kesho.
Oh, sawa. Let us meet tomorrow. Tumalizie the reporting analysis. Na madam msome hiyo variance, start posting. Kwa sababu hiyo ni variance. So that kesho tukuje to finalize. So find the you both start posting. So you do my lesson mbili. Lesson 1 and lesson 2. So we meet tomorrow. Let us meet tomorrow. Same time. So Advanced FM will start from Saturday in the morning. So hiyo class ya Saturday in the morning kosa itakuwa imeisha. That time it will be occupied by Advanced FM. So that tufanye that from that Saturday. Na I understand that this weekend there are no games. So football is on international break. So meaning we shall make use of Saturday in the evening and also Sunday in the evening. So that by the next week, the other week coming, by Friday, we go to Malaysia Advanced FM. So Advanced FM will start on Saturday. We shall continue from where we were, from Saturday in the morning. So that is all about it for today. Let us meet tomorrow. We finalize on the reporting analysis and variances so that we can do another topic. Marise Advanced in it. Then we do a bit of revision. So have a good night.